Now let's talk about our proofs. Given that angle E is congruent to angle H, so angle E matches angle H, and segment EF is congruent to segment GH, prove that segment DF is congruent to segment DG. So we have our two givens, angle E congruent to angle H, and EF congruent to GH, two givens. Here's our new reason. Notice triangle EDH. And when we look at triangle EDH, we can see that angle E being congruent to angle H makes EDH isosceles. So we would need to say that, or we're able to say, that segment DE is congruent to segment DH. Segment DE is congruent to segment DH because if I can say the angles, then I'm allowed to say the opposite sides are congruent. If opposite angles are congruent, then opposite sides are congruent. Step 4, I guess I should have put this up a little further. It does have 5 steps here. Step 4 says that triangle DEF is congruent to triangle DHG we're able to mark here and here. So we used side angle side. So we're able to say DF is congruent to DG by corresponding parts, the congruent triangles being congruent. I'll give you a moment to write this one down. Given angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, segment BX is congruent to segment AY, segment BW is congruent to segment AZ, prove the triangle WTZ is isosceles. Now my suggestion is that you pause the video and give it a try all on your own, but I will tell you before you do that there should be 12 steps. Be careful. It's either 11 or 12, so just be careful with that one. Pretty sure it's, I'm saying that. I'm pretty sure it's 11. So here's your picture again. Pause the video and give it a try. When you blip back, you'll see that I filled in a few things. Alright, so as I said, I was going to blip in, blip out a few times on you. And you'll see that I've marked up my givens. And I started writing all of my givens in. So there were 3 givens, and I've started that part of my proof. But I wanted to do the thinking steps with you in case you were having trouble. But if you're not having trouble, then you can fast forward and check your work to the end and then maybe come back if you need to. But for those who need some help and didn't know exactly where to get started, now I'm going to get started. Remember that to prove a triangle is isosceles, we need to be able to show that its opposite sides are congruent. So we need to be able to show that TZ is congruent to TW. To do that, the best way, and really kind of the only way, is for us to prove that angle W is congruent to angle Z. Then we'll be able to say that segment TW is congruent to segment TZ. And then we'll be able to say isosceles. So we're building that proof from the bottom up. Isosceles, before isosceles, we're going to say sides are congruent. And in this case, before we say sides are congruent, we'll need to say angles to get there. To get those two angles congruent, to get angle W congruent to angle Z, I'm going to need to use these triangles in the corner, AYZ and BXW. And when I do that, sorry, and to do that, I'm going to use side angle side. Hopefully, you're seeing that angle 1 and angle 2 should be filled in. That's that supplement package. So, supplement package next. So there's our supplement package. Remember, the purpose is of the supplement package is to get two angles congruent. So I now have a pair of sides, and a pair of angles. So I have my two triangles being congruent. Triangle WBX is congruent to triangle ZAY. I used side angle side. Now my corresponding parts, angle W being congruent to angle Z, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. I was right, I do need 12 steps. So once I've said angles, then I can say the sides, and that is T at the top there. So I would say that segment TW is congruent to segment TZ. Here's your new reason. If I said the angles are congruent, then the opposite sides are congruent. And step 12, triangle WTZ is isosceles by definition. Definition of isosceles. Alright, so let me put this so you can see the whole page so we can look at the whole thing. And that way you have it up there. I will see you on Wednesday to go over section 3.8 and go over questions. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, on Wednesday we'll do some more 3.7. We got lots of practice with this. 2 days on 3.7. See you then.